All right. Welcome back to the class, guys. And in the last class, we understood what is basically Java class is all about. And what is Java class is all about and how we were able to create a simple business case just with the understanding of Java class, right? You saw me creating few different classes to basically make them work together. Okay, we added a controller. The controller is basically nothing but the main controller from where you can run the business or run this entire tool set, and that controller is basically the main method. And then you can see how did I create like a data store and then rental cells and then multiple different cards, and then we were able to create a story out of it. Correct. So that's exactly how it works with the Java and classes. This core component, that is Java and class, and obviously, other than that, we have object-oriented principles, OOPS concepts, right? So all these things are all together going to work with each other, and we have to understand all of it in order to go and start working in the test automation space. Object-oriented principles like inheritance, like abstraction, like polymorphism, all these different principles you have to understand in order to go ahead with test automation. There is no other shortcut to it. So I have tried to give you guys some understanding in terms of classes, and I would like to know before I go and get started with the next part of the training, which was basically in here, I want to talk about learning about dev tools and HTML layout. I have not enabled week number 3. Did I enable week number 3 for you guys? No, right?
No.
Yeah. So I will talk about dev tools and HTML layout after this, but I really want to understand where are you guys with Java class and objects. All right, we have a new participant here, and his name is Adi. Hi, Adi. Can you hear me? I think he is not able to hear us. I don't see his audio. 1 minute, let me see. Okay, so I would like to know, where are you with the Java classes? This is going to be an interactive session. I would like to hear from you. Let's go to Charles. Charles, can you tell me where are you with Java classes? Charles, can you tell me where are you with Java classes? Like, how are we using it? Can you give me some brief about it? Like, why do I need a Java class, and what kind of things we can do with it? It's a very basic question. You have to unmute. Yeah, go
on. We would like to separate the function to into different parts, such as setting up the objects for the car or the user, or setting up a path for handling renting.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good introduction. That's good. Let's go to Harsh. Harsh, can you tell me what is the difference between uh, global variable and a local variable? A global variable and a local variable. What is the difference between these two guys?
So the local global variable is declared outside the class or the function, and local variables are declared within the the class.
No, Harsh, that is not right. Probably you understood and you have understood this, but you're not able to properly convey. Global variable is the variable that we keep at the very top of the class in order to make it accessible by any other methods in that class. For example, this is a car class. In the car class, I have added the global variables. There are, you see, there are string variables, there is an integer variable, and also a user object. Okay. However, none of these guys are having any initialization. I didn't initialize any of them. Right? You see, I just declared them. There is no value attached to it. If I would have given brand name equals, I don't know, maybe Suzuki, then I am really assigning a value to it. That makes sense. But here that is not the case. I am not initializing it. These are all global variables. I can actually I can actually go ahead and add this value here equals Suzuki. Even then it will be a global variable, but then this global variable is now having an initial value. If I don't give any initial value, then what will be the default value for it? The default value for the string variable will be null, null, 0, and null. Even the user will have the value as null, the initial value as null. All right. And then there are methods. So these methods are the methods where you can access these variables. You can see brand name, I'm able to access it here. But if I'm creating a local variable within the brand name, set brand name method, for example, int name equals Romeo, right? Or Romy, whatever, right? This, sorry, not int, string. And if I do that, then this name is pretty much attached to this method only, and nobody else will be able to access it. Okay?
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, good stuff. Let's move on to another question up there. Let's talk about main method. All right. Now, can you guys tell me why did I not have a main method in the car class, and why do I have it in the test car rental class? Let's go to Jijo.
Hi. The main class call the functions and the functions that are attached to the main class. And in the car class, that is a method which is calling the car variable and some other functions, and which is calling to the main class. When the main class is the class which is executing initially, and that will call all other classes which is declared within it. So we can give only one main class in the in the project, and from there we can call other classes by declaring the
So Jijo, what I understood from you, your answer is that you have understood it, Okay.
Okay.
However, you're not able to express. I don't know why you're not able to express it. So you have understood it. So basically, what you're trying to say is this: you're trying to say that there is going to be one main class, which is going to be the kick-off point for your project.
Yes, yeah.
So you wanted to say you have to phrase your words in a way that can make sense, because whatever you just said to me, it didn't make sense to me, right? You have to phrase the words properly so that it can make sense. What you should have said is main method. We have it here so that it is basically the kickoff point for the project. And then you should have said that we are creating different objects for different classes. So there are different objects we are creating. Number one, we are creating a data store. Then we are creating a rental cells. Then we are creating car. And then we are creating user. And then we are trying to make them work together in this space. You see, we are adding, you see, this is a data store. In the data store, we are adding all the cars right here, adding cars to data store, right? So you should be, rephrasing your words in the right fashion so that whoever is listening to you, it can make sense to them. You should say that this is the kickoff point, and then we created multiple objects for different classes, and those objects we are accessing from the main method. And when you are creating the object of that class, obviously with that object of that class, you can call the respective variables and respective methods. Is that making sense?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. All right. So then let's try and understand this from maybe Keith. Keith, by looking at this entire piece of code that I have written, can you summarize what exactly or how exactly did we achieve this rental car business solution? Meaning, I want you to basically tell me, or maybe not you, maybe you and Jia, you can separate out. So the idea is that I want you guys to look at this code and then give me an understanding, like what is the job of this particular class, rental cells class, and what kind of features I have enabled for this class. So let me go to this particular class here, okay? And can you tell me what exactly I'm trying to do here? I want you guys to give me a technical understanding, like what exactly I am doing here.
I think what you're doing is you're like creating a template that you can use on multiple different cars, and you're getting the information that you need from each.
No, I want you to specifically tell me what this method in the class rental cars I'm trying to do. Like what exactly I'm trying to do here in this class, in this method, car hired, what exactly I'm trying to do. When I'm saying the technical aspect of it, I want you to go deeper and tell me what was my plan to accept an object of car, an object of user, and an object of data. Like why did I do it?
I think you were trying to match the user with the car sold. So before you were trying to do like an array with all the user and an array with all the car. And then let's say taking the user and the car from this array and put in another one in order to match the user and the car sold. So it's difficult to explain, but is like you started before creating arrays.
Okay, so the question is this. I want you to tell me that what is exactly going on here. Just by looking at this piece of code, nobody can actually tell me or you will not be able to really figure it out. Even if
Yes,
I
yeah.
am, even if I am looking at the code just like that, written by somebody else, I will not be able to tell what exactly is happening here. However, when a question, something like this comes to you, the first thing that you should be saying is, okay, let me dig deeper. And then what you should do is you should then see that what exactly the methods that I have written for it, why I have written those methods. You should be inspecting those methods. So right now, look into it. Right now, there are two methods you can see. Number one is set user, and number one is add car to engage list. You can see these two methods. So what you should have said me is, let's inspect the first method, that is set user. So let me do that. Okay, let me go to set user method and let's see here. Okay, so this is the method set user. Can you tell me what is happening with the set user? This method is in the car class, and what exactly I'm trying to do here?
Yes, there you are updating the user name, maybe, or the user address, or the user phone number. It depends with the detail that you want to update for the user.
No, I'm not. I'm not updating the user here. I'm not updating the user details here. Look into the code. Look into the code properly. Look what exactly is here. It says user, which is this object, equals to the user that I'm sending over here. So basically what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to instantiate, or I'm trying to set the user object, which is there in the car class, to the user, which I'm sending inside the car class. So let me again draw this for you. I have car. Okay, let me say I have multiple cars, car 1, car 2, car 3. Okay, so let's name them as Mercedes, Mazda, Audi. All right, and then you have multiple users, user 1, user 2, user 3, and you can see them that I have created multiple user and multiple classes, multiple cars, or multiple classes. Sorry, not multiple classes, but multiple users in the main class for each and every one of them. Let me just show it to you. Hold on. There are 4 of them, correct? There are 4 of them. You can go to my main method. You can go to my main method, which is right here. And you can see I have created 3 classes, 3 objects of car. One is Mercedes, the other one is Audi, the other one is Mazda. So I've created 3 different cars. That's the first thing that I did. Okay. Now I created 2 different users, user with the name Mandy and the user that is Ronan. I've added these 2 guys. So you just have right now exactly this situation. Now what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to say that I want to sell, I want to perform a sell for this particular car. So you see sales.car hired. In the sales.car hired, I'm passing on the Audi because the Audi is getting hired by Mandy. And this method called car hired is the method, if you go inside it, you will see that I am using the method called car.setUser. In the set user, what am I doing? The user that I have here, for example, Mandy, I'm setting this Mandy to Mercedes. How do I do this? I say car.setUser. And if you go inside the setUser method, you can clearly see there is nothing rocket science happening here. You clearly see whatever the object that I have declared in the car class, I'm assigning that new user. That means Over here, I will get Mandy, the user called Mandy, which I have created in the main class. And this Mandy is getting set inside the car object, whatever the car object is. Car object is Mercedes, for example. So think about it. So look at the code one more time. Sales dot car hired Audi A3. Audi A3 is what? An instance of the car. And Mandy is the instance of the user. So you're saying this Mandy instance is getting added to the user of Audi A3. Again, in plain and simple English, Mandy, okay, user instance Mandy is getting added to the car instance. Name of the car is Audi A3. Okay, into the user object. Is this clear to everyone? Is this understandable? There is a user object defined inside the car class. There is a user object declared inside the car class. How do I say that? Because I've done it, right? Look, a car class is having a user object, which is just declared. There is no value to it. This class is just a template, a car template. And inside that, you are setting a user object. This user object is not having any value until you call the method setUser. In the setUser, you're passing Mandy, and Mandy is getting attached to Audi. Is that clear to everyone? Don't say it is clear because I'm saying it is clear and I'm asking for it. I want you guys to be completely confident that you understand this. Or if there is a doubt, let me know. I will explain 10 times. Doesn't matter. But we have to understand this. You have to wrap your head around classes, objects completely. We are not going anywhere unless you figure this out. This is very, very, very important for the entire course. Can you guys tell me you are feeling okay with this, or where is the doubt? Jia, what is the doubt?
So like you're saying that you're set the user and you're attaching the user to the car. Okay, that in this case.
No. Again.
Okay.
I am creating the user, I'm setting the user object to the car object. Because car as a class is just a template. You cannot attach a user to the car class. You can attach a user object to a car object, because as a template of car, it is not really holding anything. So whatever, okay, what is a template? Look at the template. This is the template, like from here to here, that's a template. Do you see any data here? Do you see any data here? Actual data?
No,
like,
actually.
There is nothing. No, there is no data here. They're all declarations, right?
Yeah.
Declaration, methods, business logic, but there is no data here. The data can be only created, or we can understand only that the data existing if and only if I am creating an object of the car, which is something that I'm doing here. So as soon as I create an object of the car and I set these values, that is exactly where I'm processing the data inside this car instance.
Okay. So you have data here actually, because you're giving the data to the class.
Again, not to the class. To
Sorry,
this
to the
particular instance,
Mhm.
this particular instance of the car. Car is the class, and this is the object. Okay, let me go again. Car is the class.
Sorry, can you just show us the user the class, please? Can you inspect the user class?
I will. Car is a class, and Mercedes E350 is an instance of the class. This is just a template. No data. No data. Just template. Template. No data whatsoever. Instance, on the other hand, when you are creating the instance and you're setting the data, how are you setting the data? With the dot operator, right? Mercedes dot brand name equals Mercedes, right? This brand name is what? So Mercedes E350 is the instance. You're using a dot operator in order to access the variables inside it. The variables inside the car class. What is the variable? Brand name is a variable inside the car class. And then you are assigning the value called Mercedes. Okay, let me do one more thing. Let me just clear this drawing and let me try and open the car class and good. Okay, so you can see I have test car rentals on the right hand side and car on the left hand side. Okay, look at this very clearly. You're creating an instance of the car class. This is the car class. There is no data here. Everybody, please look into the car class. There is no data here. It is a template, just a template. You have declared some variables. The variables are there to accept some data, but it is not having any data at this stage. You have declared some variable in order to accept some data, but there is no data until and unless you set some value to it, right? It is just a template. So this is the global variables. You are creating global variables here without any data assigning to it. You're creating some methods here. So what is the method? Method is called set brand name, set model name, right? Set seats, set user. These are the, okay, I will do one thing. Look at this very clearly. I'm keeping these two next to each other. I have made this global variables as public variables, right? Let me remove public and let me make them private. Private meaning these variables will not be accessible outside of this car class. Look here, if I make this private, just like that, do you see something on the right hand side? Let me open my drawing board. Look, I made this variable private, and immediately my code on the right hand side is complaining. You see that? This instance is not able to access brand name anymore. Why? Because it is now private. Right? It is now private, so nobody can access it. So basically, what I'm trying to say here is that this dot operator is letting me access the variables which is inside the car template. And then I'm setting the value over here called Mercedes. Is this part, only this part, is this part clear? Gia, Jijo, Keith, is this clear?
Yeah, because like you use the dot operator to access the variable in the class car.
Okay. Okay.
So
Now,
that's why you did the public. Public. Yeah,
Okay.
because otherwise private doesn't work. Okay.
Correct. But
Mhm.
can you tell me, the question is, can you tell me if this brand name, let me clear this drawing. If this brand name is the same brand name as this one, understand my question very well, okay? Is this brand name is the same brand name in the class car? Is it or not?
If you made it, yeah.
Yes. Only then you can assign the brand name to that variable.
No, you're again confused.
No.
It is not the same name. Okay. Again, you guys are confused with the class and objects. Let me try and draw things. I know this happens with every team, so it's totally fine. Just give me a minute. Let me try to show you in a different way. Let me draw things for you so that you guys can get all of it. All right. Please remember this drawing so that you can understand it. All right. So I have a class, which is a car. I think I have already shown this to you earlier, but let me do it again. I have a class called car. Okay. In this car, this is a template. All right. And then inside this template, I have a brand name. I have a model. Just let me just do this, two of these variables, brand name and model. Okay. Nothing more than that. All right. Now, using this car class template, I'm creating objects. Car, Audi equals new car. Okay, I'm creating an object. I'm also creating one more guy here. Car, Mercedes. Car, Mercedes equals new car. Okay, what am I doing with this? As soon as I'm creating these two instances of Audi and Mercedes, please understand the background. Don't lose focus. If there is any distraction in your background, minimize it and focus in here. This is the core concept. You cannot go wrong with it. Okay. So as soon as you're creating these two objects in the JVM, in the Java virtual memory, there are two different memories. One is called a stack memory and a heap memory. You have a stack memory and a heap memory. I have spoken about this earlier as well, stack and heap memory. All right. Now in the heap memory, you are creating, this is a heap memory. So the heap memory, you're creating an instance of the car named as Audi and Mercedes. It is Audi and Mercedes. Why these two instances are there? Because you just created them here. You're saying car Audi equals new car, car Mercedes equals new car. As soon as you did that, you created two different instances. One is for Audi and one is for Mercedes. Within this Audi instance, you have exactly the same structure of the car template, meaning within this Audi instance, you have a brand, you have a model. Same in Mercedes, you have a brand and you have a model. Understand the difference between a template and an instance. A template is this, where you're declaring what the things you need. for this class to be, executing it, right? And then you're creating the instance where all these declaration that you have, they gets activated. So these are, you can say, these are dormant, right? Without data, without any data, they are these members, these class members, class members meaning methods and variables, all these things, right? These class members are dormant, right? They have nothing to do. It's just sitting there, template, no data, nothing. Now, at this stage, when you are making them an instance, that's where you are making them active. When you make them active, that is where you can process data for them. That is the reason why I am able to say Audi dot brand equals Audi, or Mercedes dot brand equals Mercedes. Is this better to understand now?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Jia?
Yeah. The concept of like before they're kind of inactive in the template, and then as soon as you create the instance, they become active. Yeah, it's more clear. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Adi, what do you think? Do you have any questions? You're new to the class. Adi, are you there? You have to unmute, please. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Hi, Adi, can you hear me? I'm not sure.
It seems she's not there, so I cannot see her name on the participants.
Yeah, no, his name is Busui, actually. So, Adi Busui. So, just give me a minute. I don't know what happened. Just give me 1 minute. Let me see if he's actually seeing all this or not. Okay, I'm not here. Anyways, so what's happening is that this is the instance as I was talking about. So now, from this declaration, from this understanding, if you look into my question, okay, let's first fix the problem. First problem is that I made it as private. Actually, I should be making all of them private because I already have a method here, which is called set brand name, set model, set seat, set user. These are all public methods. So using these methods, I can actually set the value inside it. Okay. So meaning I can go back to my rental cars and instead of doing dot brand name directly, I can call the method dot set brand name. And then inside the set brand name, I can pass on the value Mercedes, like so, right? And then set model name. And then you can pass on the value. And then you have set seats, dot set seats. You can pass on the value 5, right? Instead of directly accessing the variable, because I can't access the variable anymore because I have made them private now. In the template, in the cart template, I have made them private. So obviously the instance of the car will also not be able to access the private members. It can only access the public members. So I'm using them to basically set the value inside it. So I'll just quickly do the same for the rest of it. Set brand name, set model, set seats. Okay. Set brand name. Sure, if you have some question for me, right? Yeah, we'll just handle that in a minute. You have a question with
Wanted to
the
check the
user class.
user
right?
class.
Yeah, I will give it to you in a minute. Good. So let me actually. So the point is that let's go to the rental cars. In the rental cars, all right, in the rental cars, you have card.brand name. So here, instead of now you see, because the brand name and the model name, these two guys are not private. They're private now. I can't access them, correct? So basically what I can do is I can go back to the car and then I can actually have a method called as, just 1 minute. This guy is, okay, so I'm going to create two variables here. Public string get brand name. This guy just left the call. I don't know what happened. Anyway, so string get brand name, and in here, so I'm just saying return brand name, right? I had just created a method called return brand name, right? And then I have another method, public void, not void, string model get model name, right? And here you say return dot model name. Return model name, correct? You have the brand name and the model name, right? Now, once you have these two, then I can basically access it right here. Car dot get brand name and car dot get model name. I hope you understand the difference there is a variable that I was trying to access. And now because the variables are private, I can access it with the method, right? Because they are variables, I couldn't, and it was made private, I was not able to access them, but now I can, correct? So that's that. And what else? You want to go to user class. This is the user class. Shoaib, what questions do you have?
No, I don't have any question. I just wanted to check, wanted to inspect this basically.
Okay. So do you want to do anything here, or?
No, this is fine. We are setting just the user details, name, location, and age. That's fine.
That's correct. So if you are trying to understand this from the question that I had was car hired. In the car hired, what am I doing? I'm taking an instance of car object, which is basically Audi or Mercedes, whatever it is. And then I'm taking an instance of user, which is Mandy, right? And I'm trying to attach Mandy to the Audi instance. How can I do that? Very simple. Again, the same concept of template and instance, right? How can I do that? If you go to the car, you have the user object, and I'm calling the method set user, right? And then I'm passing this user over here. So I'm passing Mandy over here, and that Mandy is just getting assigned to this user object. That's all, right? So that was the first thing that I did there in the rental cars. Second thing what I did is data is what? The actual data store object dot add car to engage list, right? Add car to engage list. That is the method that will let me add the car into the engage list. It's an array where I'm saying that there are some of the cars which will be added in a different list, a different array list, and it will be removed from the actual array list, the main car list. That's exactly what I did. So from this method, these two things are taken care of. Okay. Do you have doubts in it? I really want to clear all your doubts in car and objects. Can you guys tell me if you have doubts? Can you look at this piece of code and tell me whether you have doubts? Where is the doubt? Or I've already given you this in the Slack channel last week. I have published the entire project, right? Not this, sorry. Where is that? Jan 2022 here. I added the project. Did I do that? I think I added the project here. Right over here. Okay. So can you, if you haven't done this yet, can you please download this and go through it and ask me questions? I was expecting that you will be coming up with more questions this week, because I understand that everybody is working and you have their own responsibilities. I totally get that. But at the same time, this is also your responsibility. You need to get there. Okay. So if you have any questions in the car and in the classes and objects, just shoot. All right.
So when did you upload that zip file? Because
I uploaded right after the class. It was, you see, it was on 22nd January. Right after the class, I uploaded this here at 12 p.m.
I don't see it myself.
Yeah, you please keep an eye on, you see, I said hi at here. As soon as I do at here, this message is getting broadcast to all the participants in this channel. So if you, so this is the reason why, Pappy, I was telling you that please download Slack mobile app in your phone, so that whenever I'm sending something, you guys can get the notification. Okay, in your phone, and then you can use it. It was right on the same day. Okay. All right. So that is that. Adi, thanks for joining the class. Could you please introduce yourself to the whole batch? This is our third summary class, and this is first for you. So welcome. I want you to, just introduce yourself, like what you do, why are you here, what kind of challenges you have with your current career, and what do you see yourself, where do you see yourself in QA in next couple of years? Can you explain that?
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Adi. I'm a quality assurance analyst, not engineer, because I'm not skilled in automation yet. I'm more or less a manual tester. I decided to join this class because I want to scale up personally in quality assurance engineering, because automation seems to be the new deal breaker at the moment, and I don't want to be left behind, because as much as manual testing will always be relevant, because we'll always manually test, and we'll always do exploratory testing as we test. But there are a lot of tools now that makes it easy to test rather than manually testing, like Selenium WebDriver and Postman and the rest. So I'm basically here to scale up, to learn more, because that's what the current market demands. The current market demands more of automation than manual testing. So manual testing will always be relevant still, but we need to get automation also. So that's why I'm here. It's nice to meet you all.
Very good. Thank you. So, so class, I have already given him access to previous 2 summary classes and also to week 1 and week 2. He was watching the video and then he had some doubt. So, Adi, do you want to ask your question? You were having some question with main method. Can you ask me the question? Probably I can help you understand it.
Maybe I'll send that to you later on.
Okay.
Because I have to start like bringing up the video back and like trying to bring up the question.
That's fine.
I didn't plan to ask the question now.
That's fine. So from next week onwards, please pre-plan your questions. Give some time, as I told you earlier as well, that you need to somehow extract 10 to 15 hours per week in this, and be proactive, add questions, keep questions ready when you come to the class so that you can shoot at me and then I will help you understand it. All right. So, okay. So if I am understanding that you have got the decent knowledge about Java class and objects, then I'll take to the next level. I'll create a new project for week 3 summary. And from now on, every day I will just, whatever the project I do here in the live class, I will immediately zip it and I will upload it in the Slack channel so that you can just refer it. All right. So then that is that. And what else I was saying? I was saying about the next piece, which is in here. And this is your learn about DevTools, what is Selenium, configuration, launching application with Chrome driver, so on and so forth, and understanding HTML layout and all those stuff, right? So let's go to the next video. Okay. So what is Selenium, guys? Number one, Selenium is a free open source browser automation tool. You can interact with web applications with it. For example, if you go to any website, for example, hostelworld.com, and if you want to enter some text in this input box, for example, Paris, okay? And then you want to select this guy over here, and then you can say, let's go. This all interaction can be taken care by Selenium, okay? So Selenium is basically coming up with 3 different flavors, out of which we will cover 2 of them, Selenium WebDriver and Selenium Grid. Okay, Selenium WebDriver is, Selenium IDE is basically a Firefox add-on, which will let you record some tests, but that is not at all scalable. And there is no way anyone will accept if you go and say that you know how to use Selenium IDE, nobody will hire you, okay? So, which is why the only 2 things that you need to learn here is WebDriver and Selenium Grid. Selenium Grid we will cover at the very end of our course. Selenium WebDriver is something that we will be using it from now on till the end. So Selenium WebDriver is basically a library. What is it? What is it? It's a library. So when I say library, it means someone like you and me has created thousands of Java files, like the one that you are seeing in my system, a project like this, okay? A project like this, and then there is a package here, and there are multiple different .java files, multiple of them, okay? Similarly, a team of people, they have created like thousands of different Java files that will let you interact with a web application. And then what they have done is they have packaged them. They have packaged it, this entire project. They have packaged this entire project into a jar file, .jar file. Okay, just a minute. Okay. Yeah. .jar file. What is a jar? Jar means Java archive. Jar means Java archive. Okay. In this Java archive, basically it is called as, so multiple jar files. So this entire project can be converted into one jar file, and then you can actually have multiple jar files to become a library. So for example, if you look into this structure properly, I showed it to you earlier also, Jre System Library, you can see that. Whenever you're creating a project, whenever you create a Java project, it automatically attaches the Jre System Library by default. And if you open this up, you can see there are thousands of jar files. You see that? These are all jar files with a jar sign or icon. They're all, you see, jrt-fs.jar, right? There's so many jar files, and each and every jar files, if you look into it, they're all having multiple class files. So Java files gets compiled into a class file. I told you this earlier, right? So this is basically a library. So similarly, somebody like you and me, or a team of people, they have created a Selenium library, and this library is coming up with different classes and different methods. For example, you want to click on a button, you can use a method called .click. So .click is a method that you and me, we didn't implement this. All right, we didn't implement it, right? Somebody else did, and we are simply using it. All right, and there's another method, for example, .send keys. Send keys is used because you want to enter some text inside a text field. So that send keys method is also there, which you have to use. So library is getting attached into a project, and then the project will let you use all these methods in order to perform some action in your web application. Okay, and that library is basically called Selenium WebDriver library. Okay, in a nutshell, we'll talk more about it in the whole course. How does Selenium work? You have to understand this. It works on JSON wire protocol. Okay, so what is JSON wire protocol? On the very extreme right, we have the browser. The browser meaning a Chrome, a Firefox, a Edge, or whatever, a browser. On the left-hand side, you are keeping your Java code, the test that you will be writing. So a lot of people ask me this question: what if my application is built on PHP? Can I still test my application with Java? Yes, you can. It doesn't matter what languages the developer has used in order to build the application. It can be HTML, it can be PHP, it can be JavaScript, it can be C#, etc. Right? However, whatever language you actually use to build the project will never matter, because at the end of the day, in a browser, all you can show to the user is HTML and CSS. HTML plus CSS. So a look and feel of a browser, of an application is built using HTML and CSS. And Selenium WebDriver will let you interact with the HTML, not with PHP. You don't need to. You can directly interact with HTML. That's it, right? So then you have Java. You have Java over here. The test that you write is in Java, which will use Selenium Library. Okay? So when you write your test, and for example, you're performing an action called as .click. You're calling a method called .click, all right? You are sending some information. You're sending some information to the WebDriver middleware. It's a server sitting in the middleware as a middleware, just in here. Basically, it's a REST API server. I don't know whether you guys are aware of REST API or not. I will cover this in the course in future. But basically, it is a server that is waiting to accept some requests. All right. So this information that you're sending in here, .click, this method is gathering some information like which element to click. So for example, let me go down here. Okay. So for example, element to click, which element to click. Okay. Then which browser to use, whether it's a Chrome browser, Firefox browser, whatsoever. Okay. And then what? And then probably this too, mostly. The element that you want to click and in what browser you want to click. So these two information is being passed onto the REST API server, and the REST API server will then simply forward this to the browser where the action will happen. This entire structure of sending the information from the test through the REST API server, which is WebDriver, into the browser is called as JSON wire protocol. Why it is called as JSON wire protocol? Because this information that you're sending from the left-hand side to the right-hand side is built using JSON. JSON is what? JSON is basically a data structure. data structure. Okay. If you look into the JSON, you will see it is something like this. Let me clear the drawing.
It would be better if you show that file like which you had in your video as well.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I will show you. JSON images. So probably you can take up any example, something like this. So you can see. So you can see this guy on the right hand side. You see there is a proper structure of this data. Okay. You see there is a order, and then there is a order information. And inside this order information, you have order number, and then there's a number. You have a date, you have a tracking number, customer ID, customer. Customer is another object, and there is another array to it. There's another data set to it. Don't worry about JSON too much because I will cover up during API testing in details. But in a nutshell, right now you understand that JSON is basically the most modern way in order to send some information over the internet. Okay. JSON is basically a data structure over which you're sending some data from one end to the other end, right? And that is exactly what we are doing here. We are using JSON in order to send that information, that is element and browser, to the browser using Selenium WebDriver. And this is the reason why it is called as a JSON wire protocol, ideally. Okay. So what have you understood? You have understood that in a nutshell, your data, your instruction from the test case is being transmitted to the browser. The browser is in the browser, the operation is happening. After the operation is done, the response will be again sent back to the test that, okay, the operation has been done. Okay, if there is any error while doing the operation, you will see that we will get an exception in our test case. We'll see an error in our test case, and your test case will simply shut down. You will see that. Okay, so let's move on to the next part.
Just a random question.
Yeah.
How long, like what's the time limit to get a response?
It is micro milliseconds. It's something that you can't even judge to see, right? It also depends on what. So this question is dependent also on the server architecture in which the application is hosted. So for example, you have a HTML, you have a website, right? And you have some pages. So you open the website and you see a home page. Home page. And then you see when you are clicking on a button, you are going to the next page, which is your, I don't know, accounts page, for example. Okay. Now, using Selenium WebDriver library, you are performing a click on this button. You're performing a click on this button. So this click that is happening through this middle guy, which is the Selenium WebDriver. And this response and the request that happens, it happens in micro millisecond. You can't even see. However, when this click happens, you're ideally supposed to navigate to the accounts page, right? And this accounts page navigation has nothing to do with the test case or whatever code you have written for the test case. Nothing to do with that. It is this navigation is dependent on the server in which the application is hosted. So the click that happens immediately in a second. But after that, whatever the action is happening within the application, that you have no control on, right? And which is why in future, we will see how can we perform a syncing mechanism, a sync between the test case execution and the application navigation. Because you have to understand that your test cases is running in your local system, which will be much faster. Okay. However, the application can run slow because the application is dealing with 10 different other services. It is hosted in a different server, right? So it will take its own sweet time to perform some navigation, some business calculation. So you have to understand in future, okay, you have to understand how can we create a sync between your test case and the actual application. Selenium WebDriver is providing something called as waiting system. Okay, a waiting system to exactly tackle this problem. It's a good question, Ari. Okay, we will talk about this later in the middle of the course. Right now, it will not make sense.
Oh, thank you.
No problem. Good. So then let's move on. Let's understand the jar. I told you what it is, jar. What is a jar? Okay. Installing and configuring Selenium into the project. Very simple thing to do, right? Number one is go to selenium.dev. Selenium.dev. And downloads and go to latest stable version 4.11. I'll use that. Okay, actually I already have it. Anyways, I already have it. So what you do is once you download that, you go to your Eclipse. In the current project that you are using, just right click on it, properties, and then what do? You say Java build path. In the Java build path, you go and say under libraries, under class path. Look at this. Under libraries, under class path, you select this and say add external jars, and you add this guy. Sorry, I don't have 4.11. 4.00. Let me download that folder. I'll keep it here. What is not downloaded yet? Yeah, it's not downloaded yet. What's the problem? Small file, why it isn't downloading? Let me go to incognito mode and try again. Something wrong, I'm not sure. See, it's not downloading this file. That's fine, no bother. You guys can download it if you are able to download it. You should be able to
Solvik,
get it done. Yeah.
if you have a look at that, I think, does it need Internet Explorer or not? Browser to do it. Yeah, if you look at the message below, Internet Explorer, driver, server. No, that's for different.
No, not this. You have to download
Okay,
this
cool.
one.
Perfect. Cool.
That's it. That's a different one. But anyway, it's not directly downloaded. That's fine. It's out of it. I already have one downloaded for 4.00, and that's not a problem. Just use that one. So I'll use this one, Selenium Server 400. Okay. So I added that, perfect. And apply and close. And that's how you just added that library. You can see now, reference libraries. This one was Jre System Library. This is a reference library. If you open this up and you have this guy, and you open this jar file, there are thousands of packages. You see that? And each and every package, there are thousands of .class files. Okay. Anyway, so you have this guy there. That's all the configuration you need. There is one more configuration you need in order to support your respective browser. So let me show you what I mean. So basically, in order to execute your test case against a particular browser, okay, you need to download downloads browser here in the browser section. You can see you need to download specific drivers for different browser, for IE, for Firefox, for Safari, for Opera, for Chrome. You can go and you can download it. You can go to the documentation of Chrome, and you can see there is a version available called Chrome driver 98. So if you're trying to run your project under Chrome driver, you need to download this and you need to configure this. Okay. However, there's a hassle to it. If you have watched my video, you will see that I have shown you how to download this and how to add this to your project. But there's a hassle to it. Hassle meaning, as soon as the Chrome browser in your system gets updated, you have to come here and you have to download the latest version again. And you have to keep on repeating it over and over and over again, which is a hassle. That is the reason why there's another tool available, or another library available, and it's called as WebDriver Manager. So WebDriver Manager. Okay. So if you go into this link, you should be able to see it. So you can see WebDriver Manager is an open source Java library that carries out management, download, setup, and maintenance of drivers required by Selenium WebDriver. That is Chrome driver, Gecko driver, Edge driver, etc. Fully automated manner. So meaning, using this WebDriver Manager, you don't have to go through the hassle of updating your driver for the browser every time you update your browser. You have to just configure it just with 2 lines of code. And that's all. Okay. So how can you do it? It's very simple. You can see you can use something like this: WebDriver manager.chromedriver.setup. And that's it. That's all you do. Nothing more than that. And your browser will be always running.
Do you have to download this WebDriver Manager?
Yes, yes, yes. You have to, obviously.
And it's again, you got to put that in your project like you do.
Yes, yes,
jar
yes,
file like
yes,
okay.
yes, yes, yes. Yeah, Harsh, Maven can do the same thing. In Maven also there is a WebDriver Manager dependency, and you can add that. Okay. So now what I'll do is I will show you from where you can download this guy. Okay, this is the link, and from here. So Harsh, this is the dependency that you can add right in the Maven. That's fine, but I'm just looking at the download.
So Vic, if you go back at the bottom where it says releases, 29 releases, just go back. Back to that page where you are on GitHub. Yeah, go to the bottom. And then it says releases. Just below about, further down. Oh, you don't see it? Okay.
Where is it?
So basically, where I'm seeing it, same page you're on, and then under about this is releases. If you click on releases, it opens up WebDriver
So
Manager.
here,
Yeah.
on the right hand side. So
Oh yeah, that's it. Yours on the right hand side.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Somewhere.
here you can go and you can just say this jar 503 jar. Now let me just check something out. I want to see whether only this jar will work or not, because 40 MB, right? Let me just check something. I need to check with the jar that I have. C drive. Dev work. Drivers. WebDriver manager. Yeah. Yeah. The one that I had was this one. It's 103 KB. No. I think this one jar should do. Okay. Let me add this guy into my location. Just like that.
So there were 3 files there. So there were WebDriver manager, source code.
No. You don't need that. You don't need that. Only the jar file. Only the jar file.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, because jar file is the one that you will be adding. You will not be adding source code or whatever. Okay. So then you go in here and you add this guy here. So go to the build path, exactly the same fashion. Configure build path, and under the class path, add external jars, and then just say under WebDriver manager 503-fact jar, apply and close. These two guys I added. Good. Now let's see how to trigger our test. I'll just go and say new file, new package, and just say Selenium test. Right. Finish, and then I go say new class, and then I say Selenium first test, and I will add a main method here because it is going to be my kickoff session, kickoff point. So that's that. Within this main method, I'm going to create an object of WebDriver. So WebDriver, sorry, I'll use an object of Chrome driver. Chrome driver equals new Chrome driver. Okay. Ideally, if you instantiate this, if you write this line, Chrome driver equals new Chrome driver. Okay. Now, when I wrote this line, you can see that I'm getting an error. Okay. Why am I getting this error? If you hover on top of it, it says import Chrome driver from org OpenQA Selenium Chrome. What does it mean? You see, it added this line here automatically. What does it mean? It means that there is a class called Chrome driver. And how will you know it is a class? Because class name starts with a capital letter. Okay. There's a class, Chrome driver class, which is not there in this project. You see, in big 3 summary, I didn't create any class called Chrome driver. Okay. But you can still access the Chrome driver. You can still create the instance of Chrome driver because the Chrome driver is coming from Selenium server right here. How do you know that? You can see this line here, org openqa selenium.chrome. These are what? These are packages. If you open this jar file, you can see org, let's go down, OpenQA, right? Yeah, OpenQA, Selenium. Okay, this is C, right? My bad. It should be up. You see, org, OpenQA, Selenium, Chrome, okay? If you open this Chrome, there is a class called Chrome driver. Right? So somebody has written that class and you are just importing this class into your class so that you can instantiate the Chrome driver. That's it. Right? And then you can say driver dot get. Now get is a method where you can pass on a URL and you want to probably open that URL. So HTTPS Amazon, sorry, Amazon Amazon.com. Okay, now if I trigger this class, if I run this class, let's just see what happens. Run as Java application. If I run this class, I will immediately get an exception in the console. It says the path to the driver executable, must be set. Okay, must be set. There must be some kind of a driver that should be set in order to execute in order to open up the Amazon in the Chrome driver, right? In the Chrome browser. But this guy is not set yet. So instead, what we can do is we can use WebDriver manager dot Chrome driver dot setup. Now this call will let me access the required dependency in order to open the Chrome browser. So let's run this now. Every red thing is not an error. Okay, this is just a information. Okay, every red thing that you see in the console is not an error, it's just an information. Okay, and you can see very well that the Chrome browser was opened and Amazon.com came to me. All right, so that's how exactly.
Okay, can I ask a quick question, please?
Mm-hmm.
So now, can you just minimize this screen, the Amazon screen?
I did, okay.
Okay, now you've just added the WebDriver manager setup, right? But you also asked us to download the Chrome driver jar file.
No, I didn't. I said don't do it. I said you can.
Okay.
If you, but it will create a problem for your life. I mean, you have
Yeah,
to always
I know.
have a hassle of updating it.
Okay. So this is quite simple. Like this is better
very
than
simple.
That one.
Yeah, absolutely.
System.set properties, and then you have to give the path of the jar file.
Correct. Yeah, it is way better.
But this code does not work with me here. The same, I've just repeated what you have done there, but
sorry, which one you want me to repeat?
Yes, so it give me an error there on line 9, on line 11, WebDriver manager sorted.
Yeah, WebDriver manager.chrome driver.setup.
Yes, does not work with me because it gives me an error there.
Did you add WebDriver manager into your library?
Yeah, it's there. The one you have just
like this. This the same one?
Yeah.
Okay, can you show me your screen?
One other thing, Sovik, while you're checking at his screen, what about other drivers? Like if you want to open in Firefox?
Same thing. That's what I showed you, that GitHub link, right? It clearly says that now your life is going to be super simple, meaning
because it supports Edge everything, right?
Edge, Gecko driver, Edge driver, everything.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. Would you please give me access to the share screen, please?
Yeah. Just give me 1 minute. Yeah. So.
Oh, this is brilliant.
Solvik, can you show me when you get a minute to how to link it?
Yeah.
Selenium or WebDriver. Where'd you go?
Bobby, can you show me the screen? Yeah, I will come to you, Shay.
Thanks.
I'm stopping my share. You can share now. Can you see this share option at the bottom of your screen? Within the Zoom window, you should be able to see share screen option, Bobby. You're mute, man.
Not yet. I can see it myself here. It's on there. Yeah.
You must see participants and you must see share screen. It's in green. Yeah, exactly. It's in green. Okay, wait a minute. Are you logging in from the Zoom application or Zoom browser?
Yes, a Zoom link, the one you sent to me.
No, I know, but then you can actually access the Zoom from the desktop application. If you do it with the desktop application, then you should see the shared screen option very simply. If you just click on the link, you will be able to definitely come to the class and you can see it. But the point is that while sharing screen, you will have problem because you will not see the button. Sometimes I have seen that.
No, you can see it. It's quite visible, Souvik.
Is that for the browser
Yeah.
also?
I'm just going to share a screenshot of just got it.
Are you showing from the browser?
Yeah, it is from the browser. You can still see share screen option.
Okay.
I've posted in Slack channel if you guys can see the screenshot.
Yeah, it is quite visible. Are you sure it is browser?
Yeah. I'm opening from the browser. I don't have the application.
Okay.
Or maybe I have an application on the system, but no, I'm opening from the browser.
Yeah, the
Sorry.
interface looks like it's desktop version there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what I think.
Okay. Or maybe I have Zoom on my computer. Sorry.
No problem. Papi, can you download the Zoom? It's just 2 seconds it'll take.
Oh, sorry. It's an app.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. Papi, can you see that? I mean, can you download the Zoom? Okay, in the meantime, let me come to Shay. Shay, can you show me your screen? Okay. Yeah.
Giving me permission, yeah?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, let's see.
Go on.
Share just screen here. Share.
Okay, I can see now. Go on.
Perfect. So I need to
now right click on the project. Right click on the project.
So this one, right click. Yeah. Is it the build path?
No, on the build path. Yeah. Click
Which one on here?
Configure build path.
Last one.
And then you will see libraries. Click on that.
Yeah.
And then click on class path. And then add external jars.
Add external jars.
Yeah, and then you add those 2 jars.
Download. So just click on both together.
Yeah, you can do that.
Open. Perfect. And just click this one. Apply.
Yeah, apply and close. Yeah, apply and close.
Apply and close.
Sorry, one quick question, Souvik, on this screen. Module path and class path.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Just stop sharing.
What is the difference between those two?
So
why are we adding external jars to the class path rather than module path?
Okay, so module is something different. So what you can do is you can create multiple modules of a project. For example, you're using, so let me just go and show it to you in my screen, and then it will make sense. So for example, I'm probably building a big application. I'm building a big application, and then in that big application, there are multiple modules. Okay. And for each and every module, you have created separate projects. You understand? So then you are creating, you're trying to access a project, entire project into another project. And that is where you will be using module path. Not in terms of a jar, but in terms of a module. You understand?
Okay.
So that's how they are different. Okay, so I don't know, Papi, where did he go? Oh, he left. Probably is coming back. That's fine.
Sorry, Souvik, one more question here. So if you had used WebDriver Manager.Gecko driver.setup, it will open in Firefox, right?
Correct.
You would have to just import Firefox file. That's it.
Yeah. You have to just use this guy.
And you have to just change here.
Yeah. That's all. Yeah. Okay. So Shay, you are the co-host. If Papi comes back, please give him the access to come in. You should be able to see it on the participant list when somebody is coming in. You will see him in the waiting list. I'll take a quick 5 minutes break and come down, and then we'll continue from here. Okay. Thank you. So what you do is you just download the desktop app, right? Let me show you what I mean. Can you see my Zoom window? Can you see my Zoom window, guys?
No.
Do you see my Zoom window or not?
We can see the laptop screen there, so but the Zoom window not yet come up.
Oh, I think in that case you cannot see it. So basically, the ID is in the Zoom link. The ID is the number that you see at the very end. So this is the ID. I have just given it to you in the chat. In the Zoom link that I have given you, right? At the very end, there is a number. And that number is basically the ID. Okay, Babi? Can you see that? I have also pasted in the chat.
Actually, no, the number that we gave there so differs with the one, because here the one started with 8, but the one we gave down the screen start with 9.
Oh, sorry, my bad. You're right. Just a minute. You're right. I have another ID. Hold on. Yeah, okay. This is the invitation link that I have sent you guys, right? And there is a number at the very end. Do you see that? 8954. That is the ID actually. Okay.
Thanks.
No problem. So you're joining with the app, right? Okay. So now that we understand this much.
So Vic, while you're on there, if that's okay, if you go to class 3 summary, I want to see what you named your package and class.
That doesn't matter. You can give any name to the package, any name to the class.
Oh, okay. I've done it the other way around. That's cool.
Just remember that the convention is that the package name should be always in lowercase and the class name should start with a capital letter. That's the convention that you follow. Okay. Okay. So we have seen that, and let's move on to the next part. Plus 7. Okay. Understanding HTML and its basic structure. Instantiating WebDriver using Chrome driver, which we did. Understanding browser console. Okay, those kind of things. All right. So let's talk about the HTML structure. The first thing you should be understanding is that the web application, any web application, is built with 3 different components. Number 1 is HTML. HTML is the component that gives the structure to your application. Okay. Number 2 is CSS that gives look and feel to the application. That is the color of the website or buttons on all those things. Okay. And finally, you have JavaScript or PHP or C# or even Java. Okay. They will give you the action to the site. We never work as a QA engineers. We will never work in this layer. We will always work in the HTML layer. We don't deal with CSS also because it doesn't matter. We always deal with the HTML structure, HTML layer, because it is the file that will contain all the input boxes and all those things, right? And we will be interacting with those components. All right. So for example, I will try to create a HTML file in front of you, and then we will go through the details. All right. You can see that HTML basically works on a organized structure. You can see there is a HTML root, and from there are two different sections. One is called a head and one is called a body. Inside the head, you had a div, or basically the components that the user see. Okay, images, header, p tag, div tag, so on and so forth. Okay, so let's try to create something like this, and then we will go about it. Okay, for example, we'll go inside. We'll go to our website folder. What's this over here? I'm going to create a text file just like that. Name it as Wisdom QA Web App. All right, and inside this file, I'm going to create some structures. I'll say HTML. You see, I'm going to create whatever the structure I'm creating. It is built using HTML language. HTML means hypertext markup language. Using that, I'm able to write some structure. For example, HTML, that's the first tag that you will be writing, and you will close that HTML just like that. And then you will write something called as head, and then you will close the head. Whatever you open, you close it. All right, and then you use a body, and then you close the body. Right, within the body, you're going to actually support all the elements that you want to show. In the head, we can have a structure like as title, and the title will give a name. For example, you can have a name here, for example, Wisdom Web App, something like that, right? As a title. And in the body, we can have some components, for example, H3, enter your credentials, and H3. Okay, and then here I'm saying input. I will do a BR here. BR means line break, and then I say input, and then input, and I'll give them input, and close this guy /input. Okay, I'll add another guy. I'll use something called as, okay, within input, I will use something called as placeholder. Actually, I can do one more thing. Placeholder holder equals username. All right, and then I'm closing the input. I will do a BR here as well. I will copy paste. Let's say this as password. I'll use another attribute called as type equals text. Don't worry, I will explain in a minute. Text, and then finally I use input. Input type submit, and give the name as click me. login, and input. Okay. All right. So let's try to convert this Notepad file into a HTML file. How do I do that? Simple. File, save as, go to the same folder and just say all files here and just say .html, save. Okay. And if I come down to the section, which is this guy, if you open this up, you can see here, this is what I got. Enter your credential, username, password. This should be login instead of that. I made a mistake. I should be fixing it with the small change. So open with Notepad, and instead of saying login here, one minute, I'll say value login. We save this. It should be changed to login. All right. So let me explain what I did and how exactly it happened. So I'm keeping these two side by side so that you can compare and see things properly. All right, so this is the HTML structure, a very basic HTML structure, but I'm trying to enter some credentials. Okay, so whatever you see here on the left hand side is called document object model. So following this document object model, meaning a proper organized structure where you have a head, you have a body. In the head, you add title, you add the link to your JavaScript files, you add link to your CSS files, and in the body, you keep your components, right? Or web elements. That is a document structure, document object model structure, right? So following this document object model structure, we are creating a HTML page. Hypertext markup language, using that, I'm creating a HTML page, which is something that a user can interact with. You can see I can interact with this field, right? Now, there are a few things that you got to understand. Number one is tags, HTML tags, because that's very important. H3, you're closing H3, BR, input. These are all HTML tags. HTML tags. Looking at the tag and its corresponding attributes, you can understand what is right, what is that component doing, what is that component supposed to do. Meaning, if you look at the tag here, the tag is having some of the tag, not all of them, some of the tag is having attributes. So this section over here is basically the attribute section. Hold on. different color. Input is a tag, and then type equals text, placeholder equals password. That is attributes. So in order to work with Selenium WebDriver, you have to understand very well how to read through the web elements. When you are looking at the web elements, you should be able to understand which is a tag and which is an attribute, or how they are different. For example, right now, both input, the first input and the second input, both of them are having almost all the details as same except the placeholder value. The placeholder is saying username, here placeholder is saying password, which you can see it here, right? But if you enter some text here, you can see that. If you enter some text here, you can see that as well. But we know that password should not be visible. It should be masked. So how do you change that? You change that by adding an attribute or changing an attribute. So from type equals text, I'm going to change it to type equals password. And you save this and you open this up. And now you say whatever the username is, and the password is masked. So what did we learn? We learned that depending on your attribute, a same tag can work differently. For example, again, you see the type over here at the bottom is submit. This guy is submit. This was password and this was text. Because it is submit, login is working as a button instead of a text box. So depending on your attributes, a same tag can work differently. We have to understand what all different tags that we should be dealing with in a daily basis, and generally what kind of attributes we will see, and that will come with experience as and when I start talking about locators, like how to locate a button, how to locate a input box. When I start talking about them, I will talk about locator strategies like XPath, like CSS selector, right? Like ID, right? So we will understand all of them, and then we will be able to understand that, how to basically interact with them, correct? But in a nutshell, right now, you understand that from Selenium perspective, we will be dealing with only the HTML structure, only the HTML layer. And in the HTML layer, you have all these different components. Okay, we will see select elements, we will see div elements, we will see paragraphs, we will see span elements, so many things. All right. Okay. Now, okay, we will see tables, how to interact with tables. We will see all of them. Right. Now let's move on to the next part. Do you have any questions in this regard? Any questions? Understandable? Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay. Eddie, is it understandable?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. So let's move on to the next part in here, which is the okay, that's the browser. Okay, now let's talk about the browser tools, the dev tools. We will be using dev tools in order to understand, in order to, understand the web components. Okay, so what are the things that we will be understanding here is, 1 minute, finding an element, inspecting an element. All right, so let's do that. So what we will do is we'll go to the application, and any application for that example, and we will be simply right-clicking on the browser and say inspect. When we do the inspect, we see this window on the right-hand side, and this is basically your dev tools. So let me increase the font a little bit, and we will be looking at this element section, which will help me understand the component that I'm trying to interact with. For example, I have this component here, text box, and I want to interact with it. I want to enter some value to it. How can I do that? I will inspect using this inspect tool. I'll click on this component and it is going to give me some information. For example, it is giving me this information saying input, type, text. And then there are so many other attributes. Look at it. Don't get confused, don't get scared, but look at the number of attributes you have. Question is, do I care? I don't care, because all you need to care here is that how can you find this component, in the entire page uniquely. Because when you send the text inside this component, you want to make sure that you are sending the text uniquely in this component, right? You're sending the text in this component so that you can work with it. All the other attributes are not really required. Okay. For example, you can use this particular ID as an attribute, and you can find this element uniquely in the page. For now, unless I talk about XPath, what you can do is you can simply right-click on the component like this, or the element like this, and say copy, and say copy XPath. For now, we can do this, but in future, I will tell you why it is dangerous, and we will learn how to write our own XPath, which can be much more stable. All right, so we will just do this right now. We'll say copy XPath, and when you say copy XPath, if you do Control F in the screen in this particular window, you will see at the bottom there is a small section pops out. It says find by string, selector, or XPath. So you just paste that XPath that you copied earlier. So you can see you got something like this. You see, it says // @id equals 2-tab search box. Okay, so basically what this means, I'll give you a quick understanding, but we'll talk about this in details during XPath discussion. So we are basically getting this information here, right? Hold on, I'll put a red color. Okay. So we got this guy. You say // @id equals 2-tab search box. So what does it mean? It means get me an element in this page, that has ID, and the value of it is 2-tab search box. Okay, 2-tab search box. That's the value that I'm looking for. And by doing so, you are finding this element uniquely in the page. Why? Because it is mostly unlikely, very, very unlikely, that there will be another component in this page or another web element in this page which will have the same ID. It's very, very unlikely. It will never happen. Okay. So once you get this component, then you can interact with that component. How can I do that? Let's just try to show it to you. For example, I go down here. I open Amazon.com, totally fine. Once I'm there, I can say driver dot find element. So find element is a method dot find element. Find element method is coming out of this driver instance. Okay, by dot ID, and the ID is 2-tab search box, something like that. What am I? Why can't I copy this guy?
Actually, you copy the XPath right there.
Yeah,
That's why it's highlighted.
Yeah. So I said this, and then I said dot send keys, and then I can say maybe Samsung LED 60-inch, something like that, right? Or just Samsung Smart TV. Smart TV, something like that. And this is how you are actually interacting with the web application. So again, if you want to break it down, we will do a full breakdown of this code that I wrote, but not today. We'll do it next week. But if you actually break it down, you will see that there are a few components to it. This is the driver object, which is basically coming from the Chrome driver. This is a method within the driver object. This method accepts a parameter, which is basically a by parameter, inside which you are saying what type of, what is the strategy you are using. Okay. And then at the end, you're saying what is the operation you're trying to run through. Okay. I'll do a full breakdown of this so that you can get every bit of it. All right. But for now, let me just quickly write it down so that you are understanding it. This is Chrome driver instance. Method, second is method in Chrome driver. Okay, method in Chrome driver. This guy is basically argument or a parameter, I'll say parameter to choose the locator, to set the locator strategy, and finally operation to be performed. You understand that? So this is what is happening up here, but I'll do a much better breakdown of each and every method and each and every component, like why exactly I'm able to write this. From Java perspective, this big line of code, how it is existing, I'll talk about that next week. Yes, go on, Jre. Or Papi.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, again, there it gives me an error there. So I don't know why these last two codes for driver.find element.
Okay. Did you are you able to at least run through this much?
Yes, the first problem I sorted it out. Yes, the first one
Okay.
I sorted out, but now I don't know. Again, it gives me an error.
Let me see.
Are you using find elements?
Yeah.
You're
Find
using
element. Yeah, find element method. Yes.
Okay, find element. All right, that's fine.
So the mistake I was doing last time was, instead of find element, I was using find elements.
Yeah.
No, I'm using find element, no S at the end.
I gave you the access to share the screen. Can you try now?
Yeah, I can. Okay, good.
You're seeing this share screen option now?
You can see my screen?
No. You have to share the screen and then you have to choose the screen to share. Yeah, now it's coming. Hold on.
You
Now
see
it's
it?
coming. Yeah, now I see.
Yeah.
Wait, you have done it wrong, right? You can clearly see that.
My God.
1 minute. No, nothing. It's okay. Just give me your control. Can you give me the control?
Yes, I give.
Okay. 1 minute.
The string parameters are not in the bracket.
Exactly. So that's it.
Thanks very much indeed.
So you cannot go wrong with that, and don't panic when you see an error. Try to see what's going wrong, and you can easily see that by.id is a method, and it accepts a string parameter. So you can see that within the string parameter, I'm putting it within the quotes. That's where I'm passing this value, and then send keys is the operation. And then if you save this, and if you run this, it should work. Can't see your Chrome. Yeah, I can see your Chrome now. Okay, there is some other problem. Not this. No such element exception because the browser itself didn't open. I mean, browser opened, but it didn't go to this site. It didn't go to this site. Amazon. Yeah, obviously. Look at if you do mistakes, then how will it work?
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, Samsung Smart TV. It's searched also, right?
Yeah, thanks.
No problem. So that's that. All right. Now let me share my screen. Gia, I think you came to me with some questions I saw in the Slack channel.
Yeah, so like I was was the second login button. So when you click on the first login, then it comes up the account login. But
can you remind me which application was that?
Wisdom QA, the website.
Okay. Yeah. So let's do it again. So I'll just go to wisdomqa.com. And let's go inside it and say wisdomqa.com. And in here, you have login. When you click on this, you have this login button.
Yeah.
Where you enter the password and go in. So you're saying you're not able to interact with it, right?
No, because I noticed that when I press inspect, like if I look for the tag, let's say, like I can see that there are different buttons that they are highlighted.
One minute. I will solve this for you. So
I think this has to be weight, and also I think
exactly.
the login button is inside the child, because I had to play around with the XPath as well for that.
Okay.
This is a div ID. Inside that, we just try to create a XPath of it. Okay, I just make it simple. I just copy the whole XPath. I will not spend any time to write the XPath. I just want to see if this works. Yeah, it does work very well. So just copy, and I'll just say in here, driver defined element by XPath, because it's an XPath now. XPath now, and I'll just paste it this way, just like that. I have to do one thing and make this in single quotes instead of double quotes. All right, and that should be fine. And then I do a click on it. Dot click. right? And that's the first thing you want to do. And the second thing that you want to do is you want to get and click on this login button, for example. That's the login button, and the login button is having some information, which I'll copy again. Copy expert. Let's paste it. That is this guy here. So copy. I'm not sure if this ID is a dynamic ID or it's going to stay forever. That is one problem though. Let me see if there is anything else I can get. All right, there's a span called login. So we'll just do this. We'll say we're looking for a span with the value login. Span with the value login, text equals login. Don't worry if you don't understand what I'm writing, but I will explain. And that's the span, and then I'll say slash dot dot. It's the button. Okay, that's my export. I got it, and I'll copy this, and then I'll just go back to the same situation here. So copy the whole thing, paste again, cut, paste. That should give me that should click on the next login button. However, I want to do one thing before this. Driver dot manage dot timeout dot implicitly wait duration dot of seconds duration dot of seconds, yeah, of seconds, and I'll go for say 5 seconds maybe. Okay, so we are going to add this line of code right now without understanding it. This is basically helping us with syncing problem. I was talking about the syncing problem sometime back when Adi asked me the question that how fast it is that I'm going to get the response, and I explained that syncing problem. So to deal with the syncing issue, I am using this line here. However, it will not make sense to you unless I talk about it. When it is the right time, I will talk about it. But for now, as soon as you are instantiating a WebDriver object, you add this line so that you can stop getting any error message. All right, related to syncing problem. Okay, so just add this line, and then from after that you can just do whatever you want to do, but add this line for now so that you can stop getting the problem with syncing issues at least. Okay, let's run this and see how that goes. Okay, I didn't press. No element found. Span text login, that is the one that I gave, but it also didn't click. So I'll just do one more thing here. I'll do another thing here to maximize the page. Driver.manage. Window dot maximize. Okay, I'll just try to maximize it and see if that helps. Somehow it is clicking on it. I can see that because it just did the click, but the model window is not coming up. No, it's nothing to do with the. It's nothing to do with the.
Can I share the export which I used? You can just use that.
For the button.
Yeah.
Yeah, show me.
For both of them,
Okay.
for login button and.
Okay, show me.
Yeah, I'm just sharing on Slack.
When did you do it?
On Slack, I'm just sharing it on Slack.
Okay.
1 second. So the first one is for login, the second one is for the second login button.
Yeah, okay. Okay, let me try with the first login and see if this works. No, it is not. Somehow the click is not happening. Did it work for you?
Yeah, it worked for me. I'm running it in the background as well. Let me just.
Like the first login worked with, I know that it's not a good practice, but the thread sleep.
Yeah, thread sleep
Yeah.
help.
Yeah.
Let's see. Maybe 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's working for me.
With
So
with thread sleep, is that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Or I'll try something else. We'll see. Yeah, that's right. And yeah, this one also worked because that's the reason why you're getting this error message. So the thread sleep should not be, I don't know. This is okay. What we will do is
No, even but for me it works. The first code.
first code is working.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for different browsers, it could be differently working. But the right thing that we should be doing is not the thread.sleep. Implicit wait should have been triggered, but the point is the implicit wait is not, it's a general waiting mechanism that will not really help us here, because as soon as it is saying that this guy is there, that is fine. It is just not waiting anymore. But the point is that we should be actually using an explicit wait here. I'll just try with explicit wait. I know it will not make any sense to you, but I will write it anyways. Just a minute. I will just create explicit wait. So I'll just use this guy. New WebDriver wait equals new WebDriver wait. Okay, I pass on the driver here, and then I pass on the duration, right? So I'll just give like 5 seconds duration, same thing actually, duration of 5 seconds. Okay, and then you say wait dot ignoring no such element exception dot class. No such element exception dot class. Dot until expected until expected conditions. Condition. What am I doing wrong? Expected condition. Just a second. Until expected condition. condition. Yeah, expected condition dot. What happened here? Why expected condition is not working? Web driver wait. Implicit wait, web driver wait. Exactly. Expected conditions. Yeah. Expected conditions dot. Yeah, exactly. So expected conditions dot element is clickable, and the clickable we will basically pass on this guy. Okay, so instead of thread.sleep, I'm giving this, and let's see if that helps. So I know you didn't understand this code here. Basically, in a nutshell, I'm trying to wait until this element to be in a clickable state. Okay, and then let's try and run this and see if this works. No, it doesn't. Yeah, this is like a very edge case where from Selenium perspective, this button is in a clickable state, but it is actually not. And this is one of case where thread.sleep is the only savior. I'm just trying to see if there is any other conditions that can help me out. Element selections, clickable. To be present. There are so many different conditions actually, but ideally the clickable state should be there, should be working, but it's not. DOM attribute. Let's see something. Hold on. So let's go to inspect. All right, and inspect. This is span, right? Something is wrong with this guy. Just trying to understand if this element, the DOM of it, if it is getting changed or something like that during the page is loaded, right? What I can do is I can actually change the throttle or the speed in which the page will be loaded. Okay, I can do that. You can go in here and some performance. One minute, there is a way to do it. Network. Yeah, no throttling. Throttle. Slow 3G. Okay. If I do slow 3G, then it will load the page slowly. All right. In network tab, you can do this option, slow 3G. And then if I am coming here, that if I try to run this, it'll load slowly. And then no, I'm not really able to catch it. It's looking same to me. Other than the span, let's try to do something. Let's try to hit this div instead of the span. Okay. So this is this ID, whatever, or a link element, data test ID link element. let's see if this is the unique element or not, right? So A at data test ID equals, oh, there are 25 of them. So obviously it's not the right one, but then let's see the one that I am expecting here. So basically the fifth one, right? So the fifth one, then I can wrap it up in a bracket and I can give an index to it saying that I'm looking for the fifth element like so. And this is the right element then. Okay, you see, I'm saying this is the fifth guy out of those 25 elements. This is my fifth guy, which is the one that I'm trying to work with. Okay, this is a unique element there. I'll try to use this instead of the button, and we'll see if that really makes any difference or not. So I'll just remove this. I will just say XPath as this guy. Okay. And let's run this and see if that helps. It is clicking, but it's not bringing up. Yeah, yeah. This is a one-off situation, guys, where you cannot avoid using thread.sleep. You have to use it. I tried all three possible options: implicit wait, explicit wait, changing a different locator, but looks like the click happens. But basically what is happening is when the click is happening, the DOM or the link, which is supposed to bring that model, is still not present. So I can give it a try. I can give it a try, something like this, which is a very weird thing. Probably I'll use an option like so. So basically, if you understand it, this link or this model, right? This model is a part of wisdomqa.com itself, correct? 1 minute, let me log out. This model is a part of the wisdomqa.com itself, because if I search for this login button, it is not a different page, it's the same page, right? It's the same page, okay? Because in the same page, if I am trying to look for my element, which is this guy, I should be able to find it as well. You see, I'm in this page, but in the XPath of it, if I say this guy, no, it's not. It's a different window. Okay, it is a different window. So I was planning that probably what I can do is I can use some if-else statement to see that if this window is not there, then click on this link again. But that is not what is happening. Yeah, no, I don't see any other option. Thread.sleep is the only option, guys, in this situation. Okay. All right. So I think that is that there. Let's see what else we have to cover. No, I don't think there is anything else we need to cover. We have some HTML attributes. I told you what are the attributes and what are the tags. So we have spoken about them. And I think that's pretty much that I want to cover up today. Next week, we are covering up, I think, Java situations, like if-else conditions, switch cases, what is constructor, a very, very important thing. I think it will take, next week, whole class will go in this first 2 videos. Locator strategy, I don't think I'll cover up next week, but I'll try to cover up at least these 2 videos. So watch these 2 videos at least, because this will take time, good amount of time to complete. Constructor, overloading, overriding, runtime polymorphism, it will take a long time. Okay, so at least see these 2 videos. I will enable these 2 videos right now to you. This one, week number 3 to you right now. And yeah, let's come back next week and continue from here on. Okay. So far, guys, how are you liking the training?
Week.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I ask you a question? Just
Yeah,
because I
go on.
got disconnected, unfortunately. So I'm gonna see again when you upload this video. I'm gonna see what you. But like, can I ask you the second path to get the second login button? How did you find it?
How did I find it? It's as simple. What I did was, where's the browser? Okay. So, wisdomkeyword.com. First one, Jia, you cannot avoid without thread.slip, right?
Okay.
The second one is simple, inspect.
Yeah.
And you can see that it gives a name called login, right?
Okay.
So all I did was that I want to click on this button, and you can see this button is the parent component to this child, which is the span. Basically, the text that you see login is within the span, but you don't want to click on the span, you want to click on the button, right?
Okay.
So what I did was I just said, let's look for the button first. So /span, and the method, XPath method that I used was text equals login. Okay. And then I say /. So, okay, wrong place. Here. Okay. So /. Will basically take me to the parent element. So the parent element of my span is button. So I just found the child first, and then I moved back to the parent. That's what I did. That's how I found the login button.
Okay, perfect. And are you gonna put straight away the video of today in in YouTube?
In the Google Drive, yes.
Sorry, yeah.
In the Google Sheet, yeah, I will do that, and I will also upload whatever I did today in the project.
Yeah.
In the Slack.
Thanks. Thank you.
No problem at all. Okay, so yeah, guys, what do you think about the training so far? Keith, is it understandable? Do you think it is helping?
Yeah, it's good.
You're getting confidence. You're getting confidence that you can do it.
Yeah, I just need to keep practicing and keep watching the videos. It's just a matter of time, you know.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, Charles. What do you think?
Pretty good for me. I find I can fix all the issues I encountered.
That's very good. That's very good. Yeah, keep up that confidence.
Thank you.
Good stuff. All right, guys. See you next week, same time, and we will continue from here. Okay, I'll enable week number 3 right now to you. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Shay, you want to stay back?
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll do. Thanks.
Yeah, and Adi, I'll just call you back in sometime in WhatsApp. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. Thanks.
No, I mean Adi. Shay, you can stay back. Oh, he
okay.
left.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Guys.
Bye.
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 Yeah, bye.
Just a second. Let me stop the recording.